Hey, what's up everybody? Something cool to show you guys. A replacement toy that I had one in my childhood. I don't think it was this exact one. I'm pretty sure I had the original one from '78 when the first movie came out. Otherwise, cool enough. This one's from the Empire Strikes Back. Anyways, before I show it to you guys, this is a pickup from Big Mike's Toy Reunion here in Kingman. Speaking of Big Mike, he made the move. I think I mentioned it in my last video where he was talking about renting the place next door to expand his store. Anyways, he did it. He's all opened up again, and it's twice the size now. So really freaking cool. And we'll see how it goes. He's doing something to where, as far as he knows, he's the first. Anyways, he's gonna have a cereal bar to where the new area that he opened up, he's got some tables in there so you can kick back at the tables, and he's trying to make it to where it's not just a toy store but also kind of a hangout, so you can kick back and play like Dungeons and Dragons or play video games or just old school games. Like he's got a foosball table and stuff and a few little arcade type games like the 1-ups or whatever, regular arcade type stuff or whatever. He was just getting it in there, so we'll see. He may move some more stuff in the next week or so. Otherwise, he's got it to where he's going to have just old school type cereal, just throwbacks and stuff to stuff that I would have had as a kid, like one that I can remember, and I'd be very surprised if he finds it. It was called Freakies. Came out in the late '70s and I think disappeared in the early '80s. It was one of those just short-lived cereals. Just stuff like that, or whatever, man. Just all kinds of nostalgic cereal. And what he's done is he's decorated that area with all kinds of vintage cereal boxes. He's got like an old box of C-3POs, Star Wars cereal. He's got one that my mom brought up. She had it when she was a kid, called Pep cereal. Got an old box of Pep cereal, which is just cool. Just stuff like that, where he's trying to fancy it up really neat. And the way he's going to do it is you ask what type of cereal you want or whatever, and then they'll serve it up for you. To where for a while I thought he was going to be getting the little single serve boxes, but no. They'll just have some in containers or whatever, and then you just tell them what you want. And I figure he's doing this more for the adults, because not everybody's going to want cereal if they got their kids there with them or whatever. Sound like he's also going to be doing waffles. So we'll see how it goes, man. It'll be cool. Otherwise, he's going to be having competitions and stuff for like D&D or whatever, Warhammer, stuff like that. So that'd be cool, man. We really need a hangout like that. Otherwise, twice as big on the toy store, man. He will definitely have room now for all the stuff he's been getting in. And man, has he been getting some cool stuff. I'm just happy to have replaced my X-Wing, even if it's a different one. Cool enough, man. It's from the era, so cool enough. And I actually like this version a lot. It's really cool looking. This is the one where they did a few little changes. Otherwise, I got one exotic-ish cat. Somebody dumped a Siamese at my place that I'm trying to befriend. And then once I catch her, maybe I can glue on a couple more heads, some more tails and legs and shit. Trick it out with some spray paint, make it more exotic, and possibly trade it to him for one of the other toys I want. That's way too expensive. If only he'd sell it. For any of you guys, gals, that collect the old '70s Shogun Warrior figures that were like 24 or 25 inches tall, he got 2 of them in. The first one he got in is literally the first one that I got when I was a little kid. I think it's Mackenzie or something. I think it starts with an M on the name. It's the one where the spaceship pulls out of its head, and then it's got one regular fist that can hold a sword, as it's got a sword in each hip that you can pull out and stick in the hand, so it looks like it's holding a freaking butter knife. A little bit of a size problem there. And then the other fist is basically a rocket launcher where it shoots 3 or 4 rockets. So it's got rockets stuck on the shoulders and the sides and the hips and whatnot. Anyways, not in the package, but all complete. But it's going for hundreds now, and it's one of those things, he's just got it up on the high shelf area on stuff that he's not going to sell, where it's just a display piece. And then something that you guys may be able to answer for me that collect, I don't know if it's like one of the rarest or what. I think it is. He's got the Godzilla Shogun Warrior. Same thing, loose, but all complete, and everything works. And then to just smash my testicles into the carpet after jumping up and down on them, because man, I'd love to have one, but no, I'm not going to pay the price. It'd have to be finding it at a yard sale or something where they don't know what they got. He's got the original Alien action figure from the 70s for the first movie. And same thing, man. It's out of the box, but all complete. It has the plastic dome that covers up the skull cap. Because the way they did that one, for anybody that's never had one, a lot of times you take off the dome because all that skull area that was white glows in the dark, for anybody that doesn't know. If you find one or have one already and don't know, put it under a black light. It glows in the dark. It's just with the dome on, it would kind of filter out some of the light so it wouldn't glow as bright. And then also it's got the dentures that shoot out, which that's the first thing that flew out of mine. I guess it was age problems, I don't know. The way they did those teeth that fit inside, it was 2 pieces, I believe, that just fit into a little socket inside the mouth, and it didn't hold on to them very good. So you pull on the trigger, and the mouth would open, and they'd jet out, and they'd just go flying out across the room. So that's what happened to me. I ended up losing them first thing. Otherwise, man, all complete, but not for sale. I can't believe what that son of a bitch is going for now, man. My childhood's getting freaking expensive. I was looking up ones in that condition, in great condition, without the box, all complete on eBay and the sold listings, and there's some that are going for $1,000, which just blows my freaking mind. I can't remember when I looked it up last and when I saw one last. Had to have been quite a few years ago. I think I spotted one at one of the local thrift store, not thrift stores, but antique stores. Somebody had some toys and they had one in the box, and I think they were wanting $400 or something for it. And back then it was going for maybe $500 or $600 tops for one in the box, all complete. And now, yeah, that's going for the I don't want to sell it price that he was throwing at a guy, like $2,000, man. It damn near doubles. It's just insane. And it's like, it's a cool freaking toy, but kind of built the same way as the Shogun Warriors, where it's that blow mold type stuff. So they break real easy. That's where a lot of times when you find them, the arms are loose or whatever. It's just the way they put it together. So to find one in good shape, it's getting more and more scarce, and I think that's why they're so damned expensive now. And then the smudge around my testicles on the floor after he's jumped up and down on them and squished them and just totally mutilated them. Which I'd have to find something really good, but I don't care as much. I'm more for the old Star Wars stuff that I had when I was a kid, which wasn't too many things. That I can replace. This, maybe. I had some of the Steve Austin toys. $6 Million Man, Bionic Man. Anyways, he got in, I think, a couple of the Steve Austins. Either both in the box or one of them. And this time I was there when the guy brought him in, man. I was like, it's like, oh, dude, if only I was standing outside so I could have mugged your ass. Anyways, he had 2 of the action figures of Steve Austin, where he had the karate chop or whatever, and then you can look through the back of its head. It had one of the eyes out to where I think it was a magnifying glass or just a hole, so you can look through it like you were using his bionic vision. Anyways, 2 of those, I believe, and then I think he also got two of this other thing to where I'm sure I had it when I was a kid, to where it looks like it closes up like a space capsule or whatever, rocket capsule, and he fits inside of it. And then when you open it up, it's like a surgical table and stuff that you can hook up stuff to as you bionics or whatever. So just freaking cool stuff coming in, man. I've been saying this in the last few videos. If any of you guys make it out my way towards Kingman, Arizona, man, that has definitely got to be a stop if you're into freaking toys or video games or whatever. And I think he's going to be trying to get in more video game related stuff too. Which right now he's got some, but it's mostly vintage toys that he's getting in. Going back, jeez. He's got one thing, I think it goes back to the freaking 40s if he hasn't sold it yet. Got a little freaking metal car in great shape, which was surprising after I got online, because you could tell which ones were played with because they were smashed up like a cigarette butt. Which, in a few minutes, seconds, let's make it seconds, you'll know why, is in CO2 powered. He literally got like a pellet gun, CO2 cartridge, slap it in the bottom of this metal car, and then some stupidly invented way, however, you gotta poke a hole in the end of it without that stuff spraying out your kid's face or your hands or whatever. Hence CO2, cold, can burn you with cold, and it would go jetting across to whatever. And I think a lot of them, they'd have the kid aim it towards a brick wall and anyways, one of those, and it's from like the 40s or 50s or something. Otherwise, he's been getting stuff from at least the 60s and up on a lot of the toys, man. Just everything you can think of. I guarantee anybody going there, man, you're going to see something from your childhood. So, on with the show here on what I got. And I got it all repaired. Which, one thing was really freaking easy. I got lucky on it. The other thing, I had to glue the living crap out of it, and it seems to be a common problem. Which on that, Willie from Arcade USA, I think, here on YouTube, he's got a lot of tutorial videos on repairing stuff. Anyways, I just basically did the same thing he did on it, and so far it's holding good. Otherwise, when it comes to electronics, I got lucky. So anyways, this one is from Empire Strikes Back. This is the gray variant. It's not bone white. Which in a way, I like this better. It just looks nice. I like the look of the gray plastic instead of just bone white. And as you can see, those are blacked out. Not with paint. That's a separate piece of plastic in there. So they just got the original one and either cut those areas out and just remolded them for the specific, or maybe the original one did have those as separate pieces. I don't know. Otherwise, that's the one that you see for this era mostly. It's just the one that's all freaking white for Luke Skywalker. And as you can see, this has the regular stickers on it, which in a way I like this better. And I think, unless there was a variant that had the clear plastic, most of the ones I've been seeing have the smoky plastic here. Anyways, this one was clear plastic, but cool enough, so maybe that got replaced later on. Otherwise, it's in good shape, it's all complete, so cool enough, man. Usually these get broke because they're so freaking thin, so the person that had this took really good care of it. But all the stickers are all original. I'm not going to replace anything. It just has that played with look, which I'm cool with that, man. As long as it's not beat to hell, I'm cool with it. I'm just having that aged look. And plastic wise, there's a few areas here that look like old glue or whatever from the factory or something where it's a little yellowed, but not bad. Otherwise, all the gray plastic pretty much looks good, man. And being that they used the same mold from the original 70s version on the bottom of this one, it says Lucasfilm Ltd 1978, and then it's got a category number. What's this one? This is 69780, and then a patent number of D254080. Also something cool, being electronic wise, the only thing that was working was the light. The little motor wasn't spinning. No battery acid inside. Every time I find something old, it literally has batteries that have been left in it for ages to where they've just leaked all over, so I'm always having to clean that. This one, whoever had it didn't leave the batteries in it, so all clean. So anyways, once I opened it up, and there was an old repair, which whoever did it did a good job. The only thing I may do is reinforce the rest of it so nothing else breaks. Has to do with the wings. Anyways, when I opened it up, on the motor, once I got everything uncovered, all I do is just stick the batteries in the back of it, hot wired it with a paper clip to make it go, and then just gave the motor a spin and it automatically started working. So it was just gummed up a little bit. And then I did have to take it apart again to redo something else. Once I figured out how to repair it and how it went together, is they made a little change on the switch behind R2 on this one, to where in a way it's better. It puts more tension against it so the wings stay open when you want them open. I remember the one I had as a kid, which I believe I had the original 70s one that was bone white anyways. I don't remember the wings staying open all the time when I'd be playing with it. I think they close real easy. So it didn't quite put enough tension on it to keep that held down. Anyways, I had to do on the motor, once I got it working, is this started squealing like a son of a bitch, and I think it's because there was no lubricant in it whatsoever. So it was making a really loud whiny noise. Anyways, I have no idea what kind of oil it is. I'm just thinking it's like hobby oil or whatever that goes back to your not RC cars, but slot cars. Found some old slot car stuff a while back at Goodwill, just parts and pieces for the old 70s and late 60s style slot cars. Anyways, it's like an oil thing in a pin where it says red oil. Literally looks like blood. And it's got a little metal syringe on the end of it, so you can just put a little bit of drop on the motors so they spin good. Anyways, that's all I did, was just put a drop on each end for the axle. Now it sounds great. That's the way it's supposed to sound. And that's the original LED. It still lights up nice. So really cool. Anyways, on the wings, it seems to be a common problem because the plastic's thin and they got all these cutouts because the way they did it is it's kind of like this, and then there's a mechanism in the middle of it that R2 goes on to, so when you push down they scissor. Anyways, all the plastic that's cut out, it's pretty thin, so a lot of times it will get cracks or just flat out break. This looked like it flat out broke, but they got it all mended with super glue or something to where they layered it on good and then sanded it down, so it's all nice and clean. Anyways, I think he calls this site Toy Polloi. It's one of those places where you can get on his website and get stickers and stuff to where you can buy them from him, or he's got ones, not all of them, but some to where they're free, to where you can just download them onto a PDF file and then print out your own on printer paper or sticker sheets or whatever. Anyways, he was showing a good mend, which I think I will do that just to reinforce everything because it's old, where you just get some of the thin clear plastic like off of just cheap plastic container, like something you get from the supermarket that's got berries in it or something, or vegetables or whatever. There's just that thin plastic, and just cut out little squares or whatever to shape the area, and instead of just putting glue on the crack, you put the glue on that so it's literally like a brace. So it doesn't give it the chance to crack. So I may do that later on. It's not like I'm going to be playing with this thing. It's going to be sitting on my shelf with all my other Star Wars stuff. Anyways, the other thing that broke, hence couldn't get the wings to stay open. R2 here, it's just got a little square plastic post inside of his head that goes onto a round cylinder and it's screwed on. But you got a spring on it. It's a pretty good sized spring, so it's putting tension against it. And I don't know if it's the spring that eventually pushes that apart where it just snaps, or the way the little lever here, little blue nub right there, puts tension against it to where it's putting it to one side to where snap. If you've ever taken one of these apart, R2 here, there's a ridge around the bottom of it that's flat, so that can latch onto it. Like I say, man, you're putting all that pressure to one side, so it's going to try and tip it, and that's probably what snaps them off. So what I ended up doing was just gluing the living crap out of it, and then put it all together to where at least once you put it together, it puts enough tension on it so it keeps it level, and just let it set overnight so it will glue good. So now it stays open no problem. And one change they made, not just to the color of the plastic and whatnot, that little switch there, the original ones I noticed, it's perfectly round on the little peg, and then the spring goes under it. So there's a little hole in there that the spring sets in, so it goes straight up and down and somehow latches on to R2. This one, almost the same size on the little peg, but the spring goes on it sideways to where they've just put a little, like, just post off to one side to the back of it or whatever, so the spring can just fit over that, and then they just cut out a little bit more of a gap on how they put it in. You'd have to see one of these open on how they changed it. It's all on a flat surface or whatever. So putting it back together a little tricky. You got to get it all pushed in there and then put it together fast, because I almost lost the spring. It's one of those things to where once you put this cover on, not only is it putting tension on R2 there to keep it level, it's putting tension on the spring too. So it's one of those things, if you're afraid you're going to lose it, a lot of times on stuff like this, I will work on it in a large cardboard box, so if something goes flying, hopefully it will land in the box. Otherwise, the way they did that, it's pretty damn strong. It's already putting a lot of tension on that little spring, so it's pushing it against R2 there pretty damn strong. So once you push it down, it's not going anywhere. So I'd say that was definite improvement they made. So cool. Very happy with what I got. I'll have to see what he wants for them, and I don't know if they were all complete or just parts and pieces or what, but I did notice the last time I was there when I picked that up, he had some of the other old Star Wars vehicles too, from either the original movie or Empire or Jedi or whatever, so I'll see what he puts on them for prices. I think he was getting ready to just put them together. A lot of times he'll find something that's incomplete, and then he'll get on eBay or whatever, as he uses that to sell some of his toys too, and he'll try and find all the parts. So he's not just selling a project to somebody, he tries to make it all complete if he can. Which on this, I'm so glad it was all complete, or I probably would have passed it up, man, because just to get the freaking little guns and stuff on it, they're getting really expensive. Now that we got the 3D printers, yeah, you can get 3D printed ones. Or speaking of the guns on that, I like the way the dude thinks. He's ingenious on how he comes up with stuff. But guy on Toy Polloi was showing how to use, I think it was like He's just got some ballpoint pens that were a certain size. I think that's it. You just find some cheap ballpoint pens, and then you use the plastic caps. Try and find ones that are black. But he was able to find somewhere the cylinder part for the cap was about the same width as the little end pieces on the gun turrets there. And then he was using an antenna for Legos or whatever to make the barrel. But you gotta really have a steady hand, because I was waiting for him to screw up, because using a little drill bit to drill into the main part of the gun cylinder there to get the skinny piece in that always breaks off. So just another way to do it if you don't want to spend the money on getting originals or, like I say, man, 3D printed ones. Which the 3D printing is getting better and better, to where, as far as I'm concerned, pretty soon you won't be able to tell the difference. To where if it's something that you're going to keep, hey, if you can get them cheaper 3D printed, go for it. But some of us nerds like to have all the original stuff. And he was also showing how to make a canopy out of like plexiglass or something too, if you want to make your own instead of try and find one online that's in good shape. So, another thing, trying to get the brain fart to go away. Been dealing with a lot of pain, man, and my freaking pain pills get me get cloudy and stuff, and I forget what the freaking times I say things. I don't know if I told you guys or not, but not only did he expand his store, the opposite side was also closed up, and I think it's a lady that bought it out. Anyways, a candy store opened up right next to him. Or I haven't been in there yet. I just looked through the window, but it looks like she's got it set up really cool towards like an old style candy store where you got the old stuff that you just get it out of the jar, like jelly beans and whatnot, or just old style candy up to new stuff. So next time I'm there, I may stop in and see what all she's got, and I'll either pick up something or I won't. I've been trying to lay off candy. One thing that's been working out for me, I've been using the I feel too goddamn crappy to eat diet, and yeah, the war with fatness is starting to come to an end. Finally losing weight, which is about time, because when my dad passed, man, from there on, my depression got really bad to where it was just a crappy situation altogether. So I just kept getting heavier and heavier and stuff, because I just didn't give a shit. I was so freaking just burned out on everything. So at least I'm losing weight. I just got to get rid of this goddamn chronic pain. So anyways, next videos, I've got one other vintage toy to show you guys. I just got to do some cleanup on it. I want to open the thing up to make sure there's nothing inside that might break, because right now it's working. I want to keep it working. And then these two things I got for him before he started doing the change on the store, which I'll probably just show these separate. This one is really cool in the electronics for these helmets, man. I mean, it's literally got like a light show and stuff to where you're reenacting one of the freaking two of the fight scenes, man. It's just badass. And then this one, same thing. It's got some cool sound effects, so I want to be able to show them off pretty good. So don't know when I'll be doing that. Don't know when I'll be doing anything, because pain sucks ass. Really ginormous amounts of ass, which fortunately mine is shrinking down to where sometimes it's nice to have ass erosion. So I got that going for me too. So have a good one, everybody. And ass erosion's good for me, not for everybody. Saw one dude, man, it was just gone. Yeah. That was kind of like with my dad, man. Full on ass erosion. It just went away. One day he was brushing his teeth and it just freaking fell off, man. Full on erosion. So you don't want that happening to you. But sometimes it's for the good, because you got to fight the fatness. Later.